anytime, whenever you're ready.
Okay. I am ready now. Let me see. This is the official start of the program subcommittee. We're holding this meeting virtually due to the current public health emergency. This meeting is being held using Microsoft Teams. A video of this meeting will be provided on our website in accordance with the Open Meetings Act requirements. So I'll just go over the rules for the meeting. All microphones will be muted. Please hold all questions or comments until the end of each presentation. Please announce yourself by name when speaking so that any attendees on the phone can identify you. If you're joining the meeting by phone, press *6 to unmute yourself. The meeting the public was invited to submit written comments on any agenda items up to 24 hours prior to the meeting. Those comments, if received, will be read by commission staff at the appropriate time. So I'll turn it back over to staff.
Okay, this is Nick Kelly. I'm just going to go down roll for commission members for the program subcommittee, and I'm going to announce the names that are here. If I don't say your name, please just raise your hand, and I will call on you to make sure that I have you listed. But right now I have in attendance, I have Commissioner Oberg, Commissioner Herc Cornwell, Commissioner Marks, Commissioner Blazer, Commissioner Lewis, Commissioner Ferguson, Commissioner Hewitt, Commissioner Ackle, Commissioner Johnson, I believe just showed up. I believe that's what I have on the list here, but if there's someone I am missing, please just raise your hand so I can add you to the attendance.
Nick, I think we also have Commissioner Bradshaw and Commissioner Adams.
Got it. Is Commissioner Bradshaw the Cambridge, Mayor of Cambridge? That's why. Okay, it came up and I didn't have a name with that. Okay, now I know. All right. I think with that, I can turn it back over to Commissioner Oberg and she can start with the first project.
All right, great. Thank you very much, Nick. So the first project the first program we're going to be discussing is the Town of Leonardtown Critical Area Program Comprehensive Review in St. Mary's County. And that's by Annie.
Yes, hi, thank you. Bear with me 1 second as I pull this up. Okay, so hopefully everybody can see my slides. Let me know if you can't, but I will proceed. So good morning, everybody. I'm Annie Sakarik with the Critical Area Commission, and I will be presenting the comprehensive review of the Critical Area Program for the town of Leonardtown. And I would like to point out that we do have Jada Stuckert here, who is a representative from the town, who will be able to help answer any questions if they arise. So thank you, Jada, for your time today. So Leonardtown is the only incorporated municipality in St. Mary's County, and it is located on this map as shown with the star. So the critical area law requires each local jurisdiction to review its entire critical area program at least every 6 years. Leonardtown's program has not been updated since its original adoption in 1988. The town's existing program will be repealed and replaced with this proposed ordinance. This comprehensive update of Leonardtown's critical area program will bring its zoning ordinance into conformance with the requirements of the critical area law and criteria. And so our office developed a model ordinance for counties and towns to use as a template when developing and updating their local critical area programs. The model ordinance provides all the basic elements of the state critical area regulations, including development standards, density and use standards, amendment procedures, variances, and enforcement. Local jurisdictions can then customize and modify the model in order to meet their local needs. However, any proposed alternative standards must be at least as effective as the state statute and regulations. The majority of Leonardtown's updated program does not deviate from the model ordinance. However, the town has proposed to modify their local program in 2 areas in order to better accommodate their local needs. Both of these modifications are similar to language that the Commission has previously approved in other programs. For the first modification, the town elected to include provisions that allow non-water dependent structures on piers for commercial non-water dependent projects in the intensely developed area, or IDA. This provision includes all of the applicable standards and restrictions found in the non-water dependent projects chapter of COMAR. And I'd like to note that this is an opt-in provision. There is additional language to allow renewable energy structures on piers, and a local jurisdiction may choose to adopt the commercial structures language, the renewable energy structures language, both or neither. In this case, the town elected not to authorize small renewable energy generating projects on piers. And the second modification is related to the growth allocation standards. The town included criteria to allow new IDA to be less than 20 acres and to be located non-adjacent to existing limited development area, LDA, or other IDA. However, any growth allocation proposal submitted under these conditions must be served by public water and sewer, be located in a priority funding area, be consistent with the town's comprehensive plan, and have an economic benefit to the community. And just to reiterate, the town has, or the commission has approved similar language in other local programs. And there is one area in which staff recommends that for clarity and accuracy purposes, the proposed growth allocation text be revised as a condition of approval. So the bold text here is to be added and the red strike through text is to be removed. So staff recommends that the commission concur with the chairman's determination that this comprehensive review be processed as a refinement to the town's critical area program, as the proposed changes are consistent with the critical area law and its regulations. Further, staff recommends that the chairman approve the comprehensive review with the condition that the growth allocation text be amended as described on the previous slide and in your staff reports. And if there are no other questions, I will turn it back over to Commissioner Oberg.
Great. Thank you, Annie. Are there any questions in the chat?
I don't see any chat questions at the moment.
Perfect. Are there any other questions from any of the commissioners? Alrighty. Have any members of the public submitted any public comments on this?
They have not, Commissioner Oberg.
Terrific. How about for St. Mary, St. Mary's County, is there anyone from the county that would like to address the subcommittee on this matter?
Well, I think Jada is here. You're on, aren't you, Jada? It's Commissioner Hewitt.
Hello, Commissioner Hewitt. Yes, this is Jada Stuckert with the town of Leonardtown. I just really want to say thank you to Ann and the rest of the critical area staff for all their help throughout this process.
Well, good. Glad it worked out. Well, I'm going to motion that if that's the appropriate time, Madam Chair, that we vote approval with the amendments as read.
Terrific. Thank you, Commissioner Hewitt. Is there a second?
Second, this is Jeff Ferguson.
Terrific. Thank you very much. So then all those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, motion passes. Thank you. Okay, so the next item on the list is the Kent County Critical Area Map Boundary Line Update that will be presented by Alex DeWeese.
Good morning. Thank you. This is Alex DeWeese. I'll be presenting Kent County's Critical Area Map Update. Kent County is located on Maryland's eastern shore. It's shown on this map of Maryland in red. As per 2008 updates to the Critical Area Law, the Critical Area Commission is required to remap the 1,000-foot boundary based on recent technologies. More specifically, as per COMAR 270111, we must remap this boundary every 12 years. The reason for this mapping update in general is because our original maps were hand-drawn and they were based off of some pretty old aerial photographs, leading to a lot of inaccuracies. But additionally, our coasts naturally change over time due to changes in sea level, tidal wetland systems, and erosion. Staff from the county, the commission, DNR, MDE, and the Eastern Shore Regional GIS Cooperative collaborated on this mapping update, and the proposed map was presented at a public meeting to the county, and there were opportunities for public comment, leading to the adoption of Code Home Rule Bill 1-2021 by the county commissioners on February 16th. What you're seeing is the proposed map. This was also included in your staff report. The color scheme is a little bit different than what we normally see of red, green, and yellow, but in this case, IDA is represented on the county's map in blue, the LDA is in yellow, and the RCA, which you can see as the majority of the county, is in purple. This map update led to a gain of 1,677 acres, a loss of 1,710 acres, for a net loss of 33 acres of critical area. We see gains and losses in critical area during this process for a variety of reasons. So I've just included 2 examples specifically for Kent County just to illustrate how these changes occur. In particular, this is an example of a loss in critical area. The loss is represented by the red shading. The yellow is representative of critical area that remain the same through this process. So you'll notice this kind of wetland looking system here. So the loss of critical area was due to the fact that this large wetland system is no longer tidal. Staff did a site visit to confirm this and found that the wetland has either naturally changed over time or it was incorrectly mapped in the 70s, since there aren't any structures that are blocking the wetland system. This is an example of a gain in critical area. Again, the yellow shading indicates critical area that remain the same. Green is a gain in critical area. So the particular reason for the gain in this example is that there were errors within the county's current critical area map, as well as the original 1972 wetlands map. So basically, this area of gain in green technically should have already been in the critical area, but the current layer wasn't drawn correctly to 1,000 feet. This is not specific to Kent County, but our mapping process in general. You can find the map status of each of our counties and jurisdictions, both on the Critical Area Commission website as well as Maryland IMAP. What you're seeing before you is from our website. It shows all of our jurisdictions, and they're color coded by whether or not they've been initiated or are a working draft, a summary draft, or a final approved map. So you'll note that Kent County, located right here, is orange, so it is a summary draft map currently. So based on all of this information, our staff recommendation is commission concurrence with the chairman's determination to review the map update as a refinement, as well as chairman approval of the map amendment as proposed. At this time, I'll turn it over to Subcommittee Chair Oberg for questions and discussion.
Thank you very much, Alex. Are there any questions from the commissioners?
I don't see any questions. I just see a dog on the screen. That's all.
Which is a really cute dog. Yes.
Thank you. That's Theo. He's new.
Oh. Well, welcome, Theo. Okay. Would the county like to comment?
Thank you. Yes, this is Carla Gerber. I'm the Deputy Director of Planning for Kent County, and I just want to thank the Commission and staff's patience. This has been a long process. We use an integrated zoning, and we're in that process of doing a comprehensive rezoning, and we realized we needed to just kind of adopt the critical area map and as a temporary measure with this text amendment, and then you'll probably see a full program review from us sometime in the next couple of years. So thank you.
Terrific. Thank you very much. Do I need to read the actual motion, or is it what Alex did? Is that adequate? Or can I just ask for a motion?
I think you can just ask for a motion, Commissioner
Perfect.
Oberg.
All right, terrific. Thank you for bearing with me here on this. So is there a motion?
I'll move it. It's Commissioner Marks.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second, Commissioner Johnston.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Johnston. Alrighty. Instead of asking for, how about all those who are opposed? Great. Thank you very much. Do I have to ask for any abstentions?
Yes, you do need to
Okay.
ask for that.
Any abstentions? Great. Thank you very much. Motion passes. Okay. Next on the list is Kent County text amendment for the temporary critical area overlay, and that's going to be presented by Alex again. Thank you.
Thank you. Yep, this is still Alex DeWeese. We're remaining in Kent County for review of a zoning text amendment specifically related to the temporary critical area overlay that we just reviewed. I wanted to point out two things. First, the county's proposed zoning text amendment is attached to your staff report, and I should have done this with the map review as well, but county staff has joined us today. Carla Gerber, thank you very much, to participate in questions and discussion if needed. So the Board of County Commissioners approved Code Home Rule Bill 1-2021 on February 16th of this year. It's the same bill that adopted the updated critical area map overlay, but it also includes a zoning text amendment to specify how the updated map is temporary and how it will be applied to newly designated critical area lands. This language is effective until the county adopts new comprehensive land use ordinance and zoning maps, which will integrate the new critical area boundary. I just wanted to provide some background info to help explain why this text amendment is necessary for the map update. Basically, the county uses an integrated zoning code and zoning map to implement their critical area program. So each of our critical area designations has certain zoning districts rather than underlying zoning. So you'll note, for example, in the LDA that properties are zoned either critical area residential, commercial critical area, or industrial critical area, but these zoning districts only exist within the critical area boundary. So Kent County had originally intended to adopt the updated critical area map with a new comprehensive zoning ordinance and map, but the pandemic led to delays. But due to the updated map still having to be adopted within the Commission's 2-year timeline, we had to have this zoning text amendment to cover the temporary nature of the updated map. So Code Home Rule Bill 1-2021 led to the creation of Section 6, the establishment of the critical area line under Article 3 districts and district maps. Again, it's only in effect during the comprehensive rezoning process, and it'll be followed by map integration. New critical area lands have a critical area designation, but they don't yet have their own critical area zoning district, which are the districts that I showed you on the previous slide. However, the land must meet the requirements of both the critical area designation and the most similar critical area zoning district. So, for example, a new LDA that is currently zoned community residential, which is not a critical area zoning district, must meet both the standard LDA requirements as well as the requirements of the most similar critical area zoning district, which is critical area residential. Once the critical area map is integrated, the new LDA will be zoned critical area residential and will no longer be zoned community residential. So I wanted to have a visual here. Hopefully this helps explain it a little bit better. This is a zoning map from the county's website. You can see the critical area boundary a little bit. It's not super distinct, but I think it's still clear enough to see. The yellow represents critical area residential. This is one of the LDA zoning districts. Outside of the critical area, but within the same development, this green color represents community residential. So again, this is not critical area, but it's similar, it's the same development. If we had a property where this red star is, that's going from outside the critical area to inside the critical area, it would be zoned, it would be designated as LDA. Currently, it would still be zoned community residential, but it would have to meet critical area residential requirements. So the last thing I wanted to mention about Bill 1-2021 is that the zoning text amendment also removes references to state wetland maps because the new maps no longer rely on the old wetland maps. So based on all of this, our staff recommendation is commission concurrence with the chairman's determination to review the zoning text amendment as a refinement and that the chairman approve the zoning text amendment as proposed. At this time, I'll turn it back over to Subcommittee Chair Oberg for questions and discussion.
Great. Thank you very much, Alex. Do we have any, it looks like we do have something in the chat.
That was just a comment from Charlotte about the ending slide.
Okay. Terrific. Thank you. Are there any other commissioners who may want to comment?
I just had a question. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. You're making them be in critical area residential, but you're not moving the line. Is that done strategically, or is it what? Or is it because that would take an effort to move that line?
This is Carla Gerber. We're not, as Alex explained, this is we're not updating or adopting a whole new set of zoning maps. We're just adopting the new critical area line. We are in that process of doing a comprehensive rezoning where we will then be adopting brand new maps, and we just felt that it was easier and less time consuming to adopt the line and as a reference and apply the critical area standards as opposed to adopting a whole new set of zoning maps.
Yeah, that makes total sense. But I guess in the meantime, do you know which properties are changing over? Do you have a line for that?
Yes, we do. Yes. Yeah, we will overlay the new critical area line with our zoning maps and be able to see if there has been a change and then apply the critical area standards if necessary.
Okay, that makes perfect sense. Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, Ms. Gerber, or would you or anyone else from the county like to make any additional comments?
No, thank you. I think Alex did a great job summarizing. And again, we just appreciate the commission and staff's patience as we have worked through this process.
Terrific. Thank you very much. Okay, I think we're ready then for a motion. Would anyone like to put forth a motion?
Commissioner Marks.
I'll motion. I'll move.
Oh.
I'll second. Yeah.
Okay, so that was Commissioner Marks and Commissioner Blazer with the second. Thank you very much. All righty. We'll mix it up. All those in favor, can you please say aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Any abstentions? All those opposed? Great. Thank you so much. Motion passes. Okay, our next and final agenda item is St. Mary's County. It's a critical area map boundary line update, and this is the second request for an extension of time. And that's going to be presented by Lisa Harger.
Good morning.
Good morning.
As Commissioner Oberg said, I am here to present to you a request for an extension by the St. Mary's County Commissioners. And I'm going to give you a brief review and then a synopsis of what's happened during the month of March. A lot of things happened. So as I outlined in your staff report, and as you can see on the screen, we granted, or the commission granted, if you will, an extension to St. Mary's County to complete the local approval of the update of their critical area boundary. And their original deadline, as you can see, was February 2nd. So the commission gave them a 60-day extension. And during that time, on March 2nd, the St. Mary's County Commissioners met to discuss the update, and they decided to seek guidance from the commission staff on whether certain properties that were coming into the critical area now, based on the updated line, could be either grandfathered or given certain exemptions. And the commission president, President Guy, sent a letter to Chairman Deegan seeking guidance, and we responded with not only a letter, but we also met with various officials from St. Mary's County, including our Commissioner Hewitt, who consequently is also a county commissioner, as most of you know. We met with the county attorney, And we also met David Weisskopf, who I'm not sure if is joining us this morning, and with Bill Hunt, who is the planning director, who's also joining us this morning, to figure out the best way forward. And what we provided to President Guy and the county commissioners was some draft language that our commission has actually seen and approved in the past. And you might recall that we, as a commission, provided Queen Anne's County an approval for language that they put into their code that provides property owners who have pending applications to be able to use the current critical area boundary line up until a certain date. So it gives folks that are either in the process or beginning the process of either permit or subdivision review, where they have a property that's either was out of the critical area entirely or might only be partially in the critical area. They can use the current critical area boundary line up until a certain date, and then after that date, the new critical area boundary line will apply. So we provided the county commissioners with that information. They had a subsequent meeting on March 16th to discuss it, and they want to proceed along that path. So in order to do that, and given their legislative timeframes, they would need additional time to get that accomplished. What I'm going to show you on the next slide is the provisions that they have provided staff. Now, this pending matters language that you see on the slide is not being voted on today by the full commission. I'm simply providing it to the subcommittee so you can get an idea of the language that the county is seeking to approve locally, along with the updated map, so that they can move forward. So they are proposing that there be certain parameters and dates that you can see listed in here that would apply to certain types of applications. Now, in their letter to Chairman Deegan seeking this additional time extension, they didn't ask for a certain amount of time or a certain date. But as you can see in this draft language that they sent us, they have a date of May 18th, 2021. So consequently, what you all have to decide this morning, you have two options to consider regarding this request for an extension. The first one is obviously you can deny the request for an extension to approve the maps and deem the maps approved as of April 7th, which is today's date. Or alternatively, you can approve an extension for the map approval, and staff is suggesting that you use the date of May 18th, 2021, since that's when their pending matters language would kick in, at which time the St. Mary's County Commissioners must adopt the updated map and pending matters legislation and submit the maps and legislation to this commission for final review and approval. And finally, if for any reason the county commissioners fail to adopt the updated map, then the maps would be deemed approved as of May 19th, 2021. So at this time, I'm going to pass it back over to Commissioner Oberg for discussion.
Great. Thank you very much, Lisa. Are there any comments in the chat? Does not appear that there are.
Yeah, I don't see anything. Nope.
Okay, terrific. Do any of the commissioners have any questions?
I just have one question. Like, how many are they expecting? A big rush of like applicants between like now and May 18th? And I'm just wondering why we didn't go back to the March 2nd date and say anything that was in the pipeline by March 2nd.
This is Bill Hunt from St. Mary's County. We're not expecting a large rush in that we notified 2,000 property owners of the public hearing and got about 45 owners asking questions about the new maps. So we're not expecting a big rush, but the commissioners wanted the residents of St. Mary's County to have the opportunity to begin and complete construction projects within the time frame that you've seen explained by Ms. Herder. That time frame is also the time that is in the ordinance produced by County Attorney Dave Weiskopf, which would be adopted if we're allowed the extension.
Now, Madam Chair, I would like to interject that we put this back out in another letter out to all the property owners affected, because we've had plenty of time. You guys did this in 2018. A lot of people showed up, standing room only. It was well attended. But what we thought was necessary to give them one last say, hey, look, this is getting ready, the rubber's getting ready to meet the road. And we had these people reach out, well, let's just say they were a little confused. They asked for a little bit more time. So that's what's led to where we are now.
Thank you, Commissioner Hewitt. Commissioner Blazer, did that answer your question?
I guess they don't expect a lot, but I guess I'm having a hard time understanding why they need the May 18th date. I mean, like even April 7th or the March date, I guess I was wondering if there's, if they've known this was coming. I just feel as if the whole intent of the critical area is being kind of compromised at this point. I don't know. I'm not understanding it. Why we're giving them the opportunity at this point when I felt like they probably already should have had the opportunity.
Thank you, Commissioner Blazer, and I had the similar concerns as well. So I guess I'd like to direct this to St. Mary's County, whoever would like to answer. What would be the proposed timeline if the commission or the subcommittee decided to grant the extension? What do you plan to do in that next period of time to get these approved?
The maps have been prepared and they're ready to go. So it's not that we're delaying on that end of it. What we propose to do would be to send out another letter to the 2,000 property owners advising them of the time frame that was on one of the slides that Ms. Herder showed you that she can probably back up to, which is, as I said, the same language that we have in the ordinance. Then that would give time for the letters to be mailed and for people to understand or ask questions about them. And then, as also was alluded to, that the way the St. Mary's County commissioners have their meetings and get scheduled, that would allow us to get it back on their agenda for the May 18th meeting for them to adopt it.
Okay, so it's just a matter of getting a letter out to the people who've already received a letter, just to make sure that they don't have any further questions. Is that what I'm understanding?
It would be to let them know of an additional time frame that they would have for construction and ask any questions about the permitting process if that's what they needed to do.
So the anticipation would be that if they've got projects planned or currently underway, or that they want to apply for, that they'd get those all finished in the 60-day window?
No, ma'am. It would be that they would get the permits pulled. The way that we've got it written, permits associated with the development would have to be issued on or before May 18, 2022. And then construction allowed under the permit would have to be initiated before May 18th, 2023.
I'd like to take a moment. Thank you very much, Mr. Hunt. I'd like to defer to our legal counsel for the commission. Emily, if we do grant the extension and St. Mary's County does not adopt the maps designating the critical area in the local jurisdiction as required by this Section 8-1808 of the Natural Resources Article, what authority does the Critical Area Commission have?
Hi, Commissioner Oberg. This is Emily Vanieri, Assistant Attorney General. The way the 2008 legislation was written, there's sort of two parts to that answer. The way the 2008 legislation was written that required the map updates, there's no exception granted for the 2-year window, right? So basically what that law said is that the maps shall be adopted within 2 years. And the commission did give an extension to St. Mary's County for the pandemic related reasons. And we did that, the commission did that for another county as well at the very same meetings.
Emily, you just went on mute.
And in the meantime, also before she comes back on, Lisa,
sorry.
can you go back a screen? Gail was asking in the chat to see what the conditions were from St. Mary's as well. I think I'm still seeing the options for consideration. I think she wants, yes, that one. Thank you.
Okay, sorry about that, everyone. So there's 2 parts. I'll make it quicker so I don't go on mute again. There's 2 parts to that answer, Julie. First, the 2008 legislation required the 2-year period of time to update the maps for each jurisdiction. The commission gave that 60-day extension for the pandemic, obviously, and the commission did the same thing for another jurisdiction at the same time. The other answer to your question, though, is that as part of every critical area local program, the critical area map is a required piece of that program. So, and another component to this is that when the local jurisdiction fails to act, the critical area commission may step in and make that an element of the program. So here, it's my opinion that the Critical Area Commission does have that authority to sort of deem these maps approved if and when the St. Mary's County Commissioners don't do it, if by chance they don't do it. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
I think that, I can speak, at least for myself, that the commission always wants to work with the local jurisdictions and respects the sovereignty of the local jurisdiction to be autonomous and to make its own decisions. But it sounds like ultimately, we've got the law to uphold here. So thank you for that explanation. I do appreciate that. St. Mary's County, are there any other comments that you'd like to make?
I don't have any, thank you.
Commissioner Hewitt, I would like to say this. You're right. We've had 2 years. We've had enough time, in my opinion. The vote by the commissioners when this thing came up, we had some commissioners who seemed surprised by it and said, well, hey, we need to be grandfathered. It was an interesting moment, but the majority decision, I won't go into individual vote, but the majority decision was to move forward with this request. So whatever, I have to support the majority decision.
Okay. Any other?
I have one more question. If they do get till May 18th, can the date for the permits be moved back to the March date? Like the 2022 and the 2023 for construction and the permits issuance. Maybe we can hold that to the date of at least the permit issue to the March 2nd, 2022.
Do you want me to answer that?
Before you get their date again.
Yeah, please go ahead, Emily.
Okay. Gail, this is Emily Vanieri again. So this proposed pending matters language is not currently before the subcommittee or the commission today for a vote. This pending matters language would come to the commission later. So I do think that you could choose to condition any approval on changing the date from May to March or May to April, but it wouldn't necessarily be today. You would have to do it when it was before you. Does that answer your question?
Yes, absolutely. Okay. It is confusing, but yeah. I appreciate the explanation. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
I see Debbie has her hand raised as well. She has a question.
Go ahead, Debbie.
Sure, thanks. Emily, this is a follow-up question for you as well. I just want to confirm that the commission has the ability to grant another extension. I know under COVID, we had the executive order from the governor, which gave us a little more latitude. But I do believe that we also have the ability, or have done this in the past, for short term. But I just want to clarify, how does the commission have the ability to grant the extension past that the 2-year time period?
Yeah, that's a great question, Debbie. I mean, I think certainly for the first extension for St. Mary's County, we had that authority through the executive orders that the governor implemented. And certainly those executive orders are still in effect. The most recent one that extended the timelines for things went through June 30th, 2021. So we still have that authority to do this for, pandemic related reasons. Otherwise, I think you're right. My opinion would be different. And I would probably say we don't have that authority to extend the time frame beyond the 2 years.
Thanks.
Okay. So I believe that there were is there a motion? I mean, do we have to decide? The staff report gave two options here, so I think we need to either discuss to grant the extension for map approval to May 18th of 2021, or deny the request. So with that in mind, would someone like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion, Commissioner Hewitt, that the commission approve an extension for map approval to May 18th, 2021, at which time the St. Mary's County Commissioners must adopt the updated map and pending matters legislation and submit the maps and legislation to the commission for final review and approval. If the county commissioners fail to adopt the updated map, then the maps will be deemed approved as of May 19th, 2021.
Thank you, Commissioner Hewitt. So that was a first. Is there a second?
I second that motion. This is Jeff Ferguson.
Thank you, Commissioner Ferguson. Okay. Is there, I guess we'll take a vote then. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed?
I'm going to say no or abstain. I'm not sure which one is the best, but I just don't, I'm going to just abstain. I don't know whether that's what I have that authority or that option.
Okay, so Commissioner Blazer, please let the record note abstention. Any other abstentions?
I would like to abstain from the vote. This is Nicole Ackley.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Ackley. Any other abstentions? So I guess we need a roll call vote then.
That would be best, yes.
Okay. Nick or Charlotte, is there someone that could do that for us? Okay.
I can go down the list and track it. So Commissioner Johnston.
Aye. Yay.
Let's see. Commissioner Cornwell.
Yes.
Commissioner Blazer, we have abstention. Commissioner Lewis.
Aye, yes.
Commissioner Oberg.
Aye, yes.
Commissioner Ferguson.
Approved.
Let's see. Commissioner Marks.
Aye.
Commissioner Bradshaw.
Aye.
Commissioner Hewitt.
Yes.
Commissioner Ackley, I apologize for getting your name incorrect earlier. You were an abstention.
That's okay. No problem.
Okay. And I think that is it here. I think unless there's someone else I missed, that's every name I see on the attendance. I have a yes for Johnston, Herr, Lewis, Oberg, Ferguson, Marks, Bradshaw, and Hewitt, which is 8. Abstentions for Blazer and Ackley, so 10 total votes, 8 in favor, no nays, 2 abstentions.
Do you have Commissioner Adams, Nick?
Commissioner Adams is not present.
Oh, sorry, my fault.
Okay, so it sounds like the motion passes. All right, thank you very much, everyone. Now what? Is that it?
That's it. We can
that's it.
convene the meeting and then we all come back for a 1 p.m. full commission meeting.
Terrific. Okay, thank you all very much. We'll see you at 1.
Thanks, everybody.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.